Hello! Welcome to my channel. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to build up subscribers so I can do this shit on live instead of this pre-made shit. With that being said, I don't own any rights to any of the music or products in this video. It's just playing the Alexa and bullshit in the background. I am not a sponsor of any products or any items in my videos. It's just for entertainment purposes with people 21 or older. And with that being said, now we're going to start cooking. Today I'm making an apple, caramel, and nutmeg and cinnamony, king cake. Like, I could probably cut up and make, cinnamon rolls with it, but I'm going to do it as a king cake because it stays fresher longer being in the ring, if that makes sense, instead of having all separate little ones. First things first, I'm going to make the filling. I'm going to be using some apple butter with the filling. Okay, and I got me some pre-made caramel, so I don't have to make the caramel. And now I'm going to play some music and cut me an apple. Alexa, shuffle my chill playlist.
Shuffling your playlist. Chill on Amazon Music.
I'm not going to use the pieces. Save them in a container here. Normally, I would save my apple peels and the cores and shit with some vinegar, and I would create my own apple cider vinegar at that point. So I wouldn't waste the apple cores and shit. And you can just put them in there one by one as you eat the apples and shit. And it's not going to go bad. And that's how you make apple cider vinegar. Yes. Okay, now I made 8 pieces with my apple. Now I'm just going to cut them and dig out the ends and stuff. This is kind of boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause you guys, and I'll be back when the apples are done. Okay, so this is the last piece of the apples. Now, I don't have to really worry about doing these apples with having to add moisture to them. They're going to secrete when I'm cooking them. I'm going to add some butter. I'm going to check the fridge to see if I have a butter that's already open. And I'm using this. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon of butter. Not a whole hell of a lot of butter in this, but it's butter, it's in there to be like an oil to work into it. When I'm going to put the starch into it, which I'm not going to be using cornstarch, I'm using a pastry type of cream paste made from yours truly. I love this stuff. So it's the company's Birds, if you ever want to look it up or whatever. It is just some custard powder, so it's some wonderful stuff. Y'all need to get some of this shit. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this under some low heat. Now I'm gonna also put in some sugar into this. This is some brown sugar that I made. I didn't really make the sugar, but I put molasses in it and until it was sandy, and voila, there's the brown sugar. Because I don't necessarily will always buy brown sugar. I would rather make it. Looking for a tablespoon. I seem to have gotten rid of it or some shit. So hold on, y'all. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get it off the wall. It's my fancy go-to one. It's like one of my thickest. I can cook with this one as a little pan. That's why I like these. They're also decorative, and I could put them up on the wall. I'm using one of these And it's like a heaping, like just one. Boop. That's it. Now I'm going to add some teaspoon and nutmeg, and I'm going to use smaller measurements at this point. These are these really cute, like little teaspoons to measure various measurements, and I'm going to use a dash, and this is 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's for nutmeg because it's kind of strong, like one of those things that So I love the smell of this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna put that in there, and it's nutmeg. Okay. Now I'm gonna add cinnamon, but this one's gonna be different. It's gonna be with 1/2 tablespoon. This is a tad, and it's 1/4 teaspoon. I'm gonna be putting 2 of these in there, so it's like 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. 1, 2. Now I'll be putting more cinnamon in with this, like later on. This is just to cook the apples, and then once it starts to have like some water in there, I'll add some caramel, and then I will unpause it and show you guys what as I'm adding it. There's no sense of stirring in a pot on a video to show you guys that. So one moment. Okay, now we have some some liquid in there. I got 1/2 cup on standby to put in there. There's about maybe a 1/4 cup left in the jar. I'm still gonna put some of that into the dough. I'm not there yet. This is just now starting to secrete. It's nice and juicy. And I'm gonna add what's left of this jar into this, but I'm gonna put some of this caramel in there right now. It's like a real healthy blob. Boop. And I'm gonna cover this up. I'm gonna put this in here. And this will all cook together. You're gonna wait until the caramel now is dissolved into this butter that I'm melting it down, and all of that good stuff. Okay. Okay, now I got the 5 minutes on my timer, and I took it off the heat. I'm on electric, so it's different than gas. It will cook it longer, so that's one reason why I'm moving it to the side. 2, I'm also moving it to the side because of it's still going to cook because it's like a candy. I'm melting caramel and shit there. You ever had a caramel burn? This fucking shit's nasty. So it's off to the side, so it can still bubble and whatever, and it's gonna finish cooking them apples, and it's also gonna sit for 5 minutes. I can't really do shit with that until it is cool. So it's gonna do its last 5 minutes of cooking in the pot still. Okay, so I added a little ounce cup of this. I added 1 ounce of water and the rest in powder, and I made a little solution, dissolved it with a stick, swishy, 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 and I went and put that with the caramel and the apple butter, and now it is like a filling. And it's thick enough now where it's like a pudding, and you want that. It's got to be like a pudding, because once it cools, it's gonna gelatinize, and then you're gonna see it be kind of like a custard in a way, which is where I'm aiming for. A caramel apple custard with some apple pieces in there and apple butter, so it's very apple-y. Now I'm going to get this all situated for the bread dough. And I'm going to list the ingredients of the dry right now. I'm going to be putting 3 1/4 cups of flour. I'm just using all fucking purpose, like nothing fancy, y'all. And a 1/3 cup of brown sugar. I'm going to put 1 package of active dry yeast. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm going to be also using some milk powder, which is a 1/4 cup. And I'm going to mix these different things with a whisk, like with the flours. I'm going to make sure that the salt and the yeast are not going to be together, because the contact with each other, like, deactivates your yeast. Like, it still will get the other yeast will go in, but you're making it work harder. Like, work smarter, not harder. Don't do that like that. Mix up your flours always, and then add the yeast if you're going to do it in the flour. But we're going to plume it in some fucking warm water with some honey, or some molasses. I'm going to pick honey this time. And a lot of times I will get like KFC once in a while to splurge. I save those little honey packets that they give you to plume my my yeast a lot. So just a little tip and shit. Like, if you guys want to use that too, feel free. That's what I'm doing. My husband doesn't want this to be a sourdough starter at all in this. So normally I would use a portion of this packet and then make a sponge, but we're not doing that today in this recipe. That's a future recipe. I will be showing you guys how I do it with a sponge. This is just with, making it kind of simple. Alright, with that being said, waiting on that, I'm going to fill all my powders in here and I'll mix it, and then I'll be back. And I know, even though you didn't probably ask, guess I'm going to sift the flour. Okay, I just added the flour. I'm going to put in some kosher salt. The reason why I'm using kosher salt is it's bigger pieces. I'm going to just do a couple pinches. This is a 1/4 teaspoon if you want to measure it out, which is this measurement. Okay, 1/4 teaspoon. And I'm going to put that in here. And then I'm going to put baking powder. It's going to be 1 tablespoon. Yeah, like it's a lot. And I'm going to put that into the flour with the salt and a little bit of cinnamon and nutmeg again. And I'm going to whisk it up with the whisk. I added 6 of the 1/4 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1/2 tablespoon of nutmeg, and I'm just gonna let that mix in there just for a little bit. And then I'm going to sift it in a bowl, and then I'm going to set that aside and start working on my wet ingredients. Okay, now I have my dry milk powder. If y'all thought that I was going to put it into the flour mixture, I didn't. I'm leaving this separate because I'm going to use milk to poof my sponge. I'm going to put it in some water, and then I'm going with some honey. And then when it starts getting weird, which you'll see that in a moment, I'm not doing that right now because I'm kind of doing this leisurely, kind of slow for the people out in the back, some of y'all is on a smart bus, and some of y'all ain't, and some of y'all know how to cook, and some of y'all just do box shit. And it's okay. There's different kinds of cooks out there. Just because I have background in cooking in schools and stuff like that, and that's why I make it a very diverse bunch of shit. It's also why I got this belly. Okay, so I got the brown sugar in here, which is a 1/4 cup, and then I got 3 eggs, and I'm going to blend this in here. Now I could blend it with my sugar, and it won't change the composition of this batter, but I might put that in with the milk. But for the people out in the back making this for the very first time, it's a lot more easier just to put it into the brown sugar and do the eggs with it. So that's what I'm going to do today. But there is other ways where I do this part different, and it's for a different property of it, and that's quite okay. Now, I put these eggs and cracked them over the bowl in case there's shells and shit. I don't feel like searching for a shell and shit, so that's why I'm doing all this. That's going in there. And now I'm going to put in like some vanilla. I have like these small little ones somewhere. I can't seem to find it. I should have been a little bit more organized. But I'm going to use this one. And it's about a little bit bigger than a tablespoon. It's not like a normal measurement. But I'm going to put one of them in there. A vanilla. And I'm going to put this down and I'm going to whip this for a hot fucking minute. I'm probably going to do it for 5 minutes and put a timer on it. So Alexa, I need a 5-minute timer named Whip It. Okay, I'm going to lock it and I'm going to put it on my mixer at a 6. And then after a minute, I'm going to hit that shit on a level 8. Okay, I lied. It's on a 10. If your shit don't look like this, you didn't whip it long enough. See how it's like, it's foamy? That's what's up. Smoke your weed, take a break, and feel real good while I'm puffing. Shout out to two people, Jay from Ohio and Jim from Kentucky. This is for you. Bork, bork. Okay, now I'm going to add in 2 more quarter teaspoons into the foamy eggy mixture. The reason why I'm spicing out the cinnamon is because it's not very sinky. Like it's fluffy. Like if it hits water, it floats. You know, like it's hard to do that. So by creaming it in things, you'll have the cinnamon not be clumpy in any of the stuff. So I'm gonna put this on, mix this another minute or so. And see you in a minute. Now, part of the process now, I cleaned my pot that I did the apple shit in. Get yourself a cute little pot like this, because it's perfect. And I'm getting a 1/4 cup, and I'm gonna use some milk. We don't drink a lot of milk in this house. Rance is lactose intolerant. So, like, we have, like, this milk all the time and to cook with. It's gotta be room temperature. Don't let it be cold, because everything revolves around with this being kind of warm, because I'm wearing the onesie. Like, it's fucking Michigan out here. Like, we're like blizzard of 2026. You know, like, this shit's stupid. Like, people getting over a foot of snow and shit. We constantly getting snow, but luckily it's melting now. We had like fucking 1.5 feet for a little while. It's fucking bullshit. Anyways, so still haven't did my yeast yet. I still haven't added. I just whipped my eggs. They gotta be whipped, okay? Otherwise, just the composition don't do it right. And the butter, I'm not adding it until last. There's reasons for that too. So I'm gonna put this on a low heat. And I'm going to get the milk in there, because you don't want to scorch your milk. And I'm doing a 1/4 cup of milk. And then I'm doing 1 tablespoon or teaspoon or whatever of flour, which I have this thing here. And I'm going to use this. This is going to be like, it's like a 1 tablespoon of flour should do it. And I'm taking it from the flour mixture. Okay? I'm not getting my flour out and adding more flour to my shit. I'm just not doing that. It's like, so I'm going to take my little pot here. I'm going to get like a little scoop of flour. You know, just a little scooper whooper. And, so you guys can see. So like, it's right here in the little pot. And that's it. That's all the flour of that. I'm going to go ahead and get me some milk. Okay. There's that. I'm going to put this in the fridge now because I'm done with this. I'm not going to use it anymore. Okay, so that's that. Now I'm going to put this on a low heat. Kind of medium high. Medium low. And while that is starting to bubble or whatever, I'm getting my little spatula ready. Make sure it's dry, you don't want extra water. And you just want to keep stirring this. Working the flour. It will absorb. It will be in there, trust me. Bring up the little bubbles. At this point, you could use a whisk. It's going to take a minute to heat up. So after this, I'm just going to boil it, and I'll show you what it looks like after it's done. Okay, so it's now just off the heat, and I got it as a mashed potatoes. Okay, mashed potatoes. Like, it should stick like nice. It's like mashed potatoes, like frosted. Once this is cooled, I will whip this into my egg mixture. Also, to help it cool, I'm going to add in my, what do you call this? Apple butter, I guess? Yeah, with apple butter. And I'm going to mix this with a whisk. Your apple butter and stuff should look like this. It sticks inside your whisk. If it's too thick and it's lumpy, you did it wrong. And if it's not done cooled, you'll see that too. And, that's what it is. Okay, I'm going to add this into this now that it's cool. Okay, so I'm going to whisk this now. It's on number 8. I'm going to scratch the bowl and transfer a little bit. This is just to incorporate everything. Just a couple minutes to leave with it. Just all the other stuff. Not adding the butter yet. You added the butter already, you already fucked it up, you might as well start over. And your butter should be able to be like squeezing. And it's like squishy. Okay? Not like where it's overheated and you can stick your finger right through it too easy. But to indent it nice. Like about 10 pounds of pressure. You squeeze it and it leaks out of the paper, you fucked up your butter. Put it back in the fridge. Alright, this is done. I will no longer need the attachment for the whisk. And if you're rinsing off your utensils and reusing them, make sure they're dry. Extra moisture is going to fuck up your shit here. Because the apples have got a lot of moisture to them. And there's only so much play you have with that. So I'm just going to scoop from the bottom to the top. If this does not look like pancake batter, you fucked up. Pancake batter. Okay. Foamy. Okay. Okay. There's that. Now I'm going to add in like a paddle attachment. This has got a scraper on it. I understand some of y'all don't have these mixers. If you have a whisk and a spatula, you can just Work that arm energy, girl. Fucking get a little cardio. I'm not trying to exercise while I'm cooking today. So I'm going to now have the one with the spatula on it. And what I'm going to end up doing is adding the flour like gradually. But at this time, in the middle of this process, I'm going to not have the yeast in it yet. The yeast will be pluming like really soon here. So when that being said, like I'm gonna get that like ready. I got a teapot that is gonna be hot and it should be still, and it is. So that's not gonna cool down by the time I'm ready for it. I want my water to be like 100 degrees. And so I'll probably we'll start doing that with the hot water in a little bit. Like I said, right now I'm gonna be adding in, what's this measurement here? 1/3 cup at a time of flour to this. It's not gonna be shaggy until I add the rest of the flour, and then you start seeing it to group together. And then I'm gonna use the dough hook, and then I'm gonna mix the dough for at least fucking 20 fucking minutes and shit. So I'm gonna finish the rest of my doobie and shit. Might make a wee tea while I'm waiting, and enjoy life for a good hot 25 minutes. And then when I can do the window pane test on the dough, that's when we can get to that. That's when you can stretch the dough and it doesn't rip apart. You can see light through it. Okay, so I have 2 bowls. I have this other bowl here. Now I'm putting this in here. And then once I have my shaggy dough or all the flour added, that's when I add the butter, and then the 20 minutes of mixing commences. So, here we go. Lock this. And I shall return when it's ready to add in the butter. Because I'm just going to put tablespoons of it at a time and say hey, and then pause it again, and then you guys see the dough with the mixture of when I put that in there with the poof of the yeast. Okay, and I shall return. I'm just, gradually adding this flour. I am going to save a little bit of this. Just maybe like a half a cup-ish. And you can't add it fast, because if you don't take breaks and let it dissolve it in, then you're going to have flour all over the fucking place. And then you got more of a mess to clean. You don't want that. No, I got time for that. Alright. See you in a minute. I have a thermometer over here going, and I'm waiting for it to be at least 90 degrees. And it's a little bit warmer, so I'm going to wait a little bit longer. I want it to be like a warm bath water. And this is building gluten, so you can't fucking mix this enough. Just forget that it's fucking mixing. Just let it do its little woo-woo. And at this point, I saved me so much of the flour in the other bowl. Now, if you are a person that has a busy life, then I would put half this packet in here and save the other half a packet to plume. That way your yeast has got a strong culture in it. That way you can go back and you can freeze this dough. It freezes really nice. Just do it before the proofing process, you're gonna proof it and stuff. Put it together and just freeze it immediately. And you shouldn't be doing it with all the warm stuff. I'm gonna be baking this quickly, so I'm not gonna worry about it being warm ingredients. But once this hits that timer, I'm ready to go. Yeah, it's still a little hot. Alright, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, now the yeast is getting ready to go. I'm going to do it like this. Dump it in there. She got some honey and stuff in there. It should be wonderful. When this gets a little goofy, scary, I'm going to dump it in this, and then I'm going to add in the rest of my flour right now because I'm going to add maybe a little bit more flour to make the dough be dough. But I'm dumping this in there. And soon I'll be putting in the other hook and stuff. While this is doing its... Yeah, it's starting to make the sound. Okay, so now it's shaggy. Like, it's just very shaggy. Like just pieces of dough. You know, it's just shaggy. And I'm going to clean off my spatula here. You'll be washing your hands a lot while you be making this dough. Okay, so that's all in there. And the next thing now I'm going to add in is the butter and fold in the butter now. This is part of the way that the glaze, it's like a half a stick of butter. This is not like the whole stick because normally I'll use the whole stick for the filling, but this is a caramel apple king cake. So it's like, it's a little different. Like it needs like more of a durable dough for nothing to have an explosion. But we're also making like a brie bread. So it's like, it's very hearty. So I'm gonna cut this into like a third of a cup if you really want to measure this. So where's a third of a cup on here? Third of a cup is here. So 4 tablespoons. There, cut it. Okay, so there's half of this. And I'm gonna cut this into little squares. It's okay if they're not symmetrical. It's not a big deal. Alright, and I'm gonna put this in here. I'm gonna probably scratch the bowl and switch them. I'm gonna grease this with a little bit of butter as well, because I'm gonna be putting the dough in there to chill out and shit at one point. Okay, now my dough hook is on, and I'm gonna lock this, and I'm gonna throw some butter in there. Just occasionally tossing some butter in there. It will absorb it in there. This is starting to get a little foamy. I'm gonna like do it on the camera as it gets foamy so I can see it like through the camera while I'm mixing the dough. I'm gonna have to scratch this down. Okay. Stuff on the sides, it's okay. Sometimes you gotta help it. You're probably listening to the Tibetan bells and bowls and stuff. There's all kinds of shit on this playlist. Okay. There's that. Adding on a piece of butter. And you don't use flour unless you have to. If you need to wet it, I'm using more of my apple butter, and I'm just gonna pop the seal on it, pop it, you know, like if I need it. This is gonna be added once it's at the right fizz. Like it's almost there. Butter. This piece of butter. Okay, I'm going to add the last piece in there. Just spread some of this butter on my fingers. Since I don't need much to grease this roller. It needs to be greased so it doesn't stick to it while it's poofing. It's going to have one poof and then another poof. I'm not going to beat it down much. I'm going to try to be as delicate as possible. This is done. This is almost ready. Okay, now I'm going to add this in here. This is going to have to be on low because it's kind of like a dough right now. Like I'm adding the yeast kind of like last. This is when you would add like other stuff, but it's all good. If you need more water, you can put it in here, but I'm going to be using milk or more of the other stuff. And it will do its thing. Alright, I'll be pausing. Okay, I finally got it to be all like pretty much incorporated. 20 minutes on the clock or a little longer. We're waiting for the window pane now. So it's just gonna mix into a dough and carry on. So I'm gonna set Alexa a 20-minute timer, and here we go, y'all. If it's not looking like a hot mess, it ain't mixing right. See how it's like it looks kind of like you fucked it up? You fucked it up real good, but you get it. It's actually like it's gonna thin out the dough now. While it's thinning out, it's building up the gluten. It's parting, so it's chewy, airy, and fluffy, like his daddy. Okay, now I smell like the yeast and stuff. It's only been mixing for a few minutes. But I can see that the dough has now went back to a soft, very runny back to dough, not firm. Now I need to add a little bit of flour. There's always a ratio of adding flour. You want this to become like a ball. As soon as it turns into a ball with the flour in this bowl, you just left it to knead until the window pane. So right now it's just like a really runny dough. Not really runny. It's like it's a soft. Like it's really like moist and everything. And now I'm gonna probably add in about half a cup gradually, slowly, little bits at a time, until this thing balls back up. I'm just gonna use this little spoon and use a little spoon at a time while it's kneading. Use this downtime for the window pane process to like clean your dishes that you're fucking doing. That's what I'm doing. I'm cleaning my mess. Keep cleaning as you go, and you should be fine. Okay, it's poofing, and it's got about 18 minutes left of it to like poof and stuff to let the dough rest. But because I did it early and it's not cold, I can skip like 10 minutes and dust the counter and roll a pin it and form it. So that's what I'm going to do. And this is my apple custard. It's al dente, meaning like I have to cook it a little bit more and it'll firm up a little bit more. So this is now cool, and I'll be smothering that in there. I'm gonna move the mixer and some stuff, and I'm gonna roll pin
Oh
that,
my God, I
and then
don't
make
miss
also
that.
frosting.
Oh my God.
So I'm cleaning the counter so that way I can like dry it off and roll on it. Okay. So I rolled it out, and it's like a rectangle. It's got some flour underneath it. I'm gonna be dusting the flour off of it. I'm gonna put all my apple filling in this. I could probably use a spatula right now. It's around here somewhere. There's one. You want all of that in there. The flick is important. Yeah, and the leg. Okay. Putting it in here. Just keeping it like away from the sides. I'm also putting some brown sugar on this. I'm gonna put this side there. Kind of spreading out those apples. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to do the brown sugar. Okay. Oh, sorry. I don't just see that like that. Okay. And now I'm going to wash my hands, dry them, and roll it.
Your theme song.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to pause that. Hold on. Now I'm gonna put a glaze over this, so while it's poofing, it's going to it's like some honey, some butter, and I'm gonna whisk this together really quick, and then I'm gonna brush it. And that's just the glaze on top of it, and it's gonna poof on a roll mat, which stays around 85 degrees, and then it's gonna poof, and then I'm gonna bake it at 350 until it's like nice and golden brown, or internal temperature is like 200. It's like 25 minutes. I poked holes with a toothpick for ventilation so it doesn't explode. And I'm gonna brush. Oh, I gotta put an egg in this. Almost forgot. Mix this up with the butter. Almost forgot about that. Okay. And I'm gonna brush this all over. I'm gonna be making another pastry, so I'm gonna be using more of this on another thing later on. I'm coating this generously. Okay. Very generous. Make sure you get the booty hole, which is in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to put some brown sugar and cinnamon on top of this. Sweet. At this time, I could probably put this back in the fridge because I'm done with this. Okay, so I got about 10 more minutes of this thing poofing. It's obviously gonna have to poof a little bit longer because it's fucking cold out here, man. Like, so the king cake is gotta definitely double in size. It will fit that sheet pan. So I'm just waiting for it to hit the girth of the sides, and then I'm gonna take this off and put it in the oven. I'm not going to preheat the oven until this is definitely doubling in size. So I'm going to probably poof it for a little bit longer. Probably another 40 minutes. Alexa, add another 40 minutes. Because, and then I'm going to make the frosting. So I'll see y'all in a little bit. There's really nothing else to fucking do to waste the time. So get high smoking out of my one hitter, smoking some of that Chanel weed. Ooh, that's some good shit, y'all. That's some good shit. Husband's in the plant room, making room for the garden and plants. Grow room is like booming, like fucking just booming. It's amazing. Alright, I'm gonna smoke some rest of this. I scraped my bowl and made a little resin ball, so I was smoking it. That's Murmur in the background. She's saying hey. She knows I'm making stuff, so she's just over here bitching. Okay, I just did a nice egg brush. I'm on to the last minute of it poofing. It did double in size, so you can see it. Now I'm gonna put it in the oven. Alexa, I need a 25-minute. Alexa, add 25 minutes.
You now have about 25 minutes and 39 seconds left.
Okay. Unplug this. I love using this for the poofing, especially in the winter, y'all. Y'all should get one. Alright, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. Okay, so I got me the rest of the stick of the butter. It's in here from what I did earlier. And it's been at a very room temperature. So I'm going to cream this with a little bit of brown sugar, probably like 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. And then once this is creamed together, I'm going to add a majority of this. I'm probably going to add in about 2 ounces of cream cheese. See you in a minute. Okay, so the frosting, it should be like whipped frosting. It's cream cheese, butter, powdered sugar, a little bit of vanilla, and that's it. And I'm gonna dye it and put it in on the king cake while it's cooking.
Is there any idea why I stopped you tonight?
Okay, so I'm gonna add in some frozen raspberries that I have de-thawed, and I'm going to end up putting a little bit more powdered sugar in this. About a half a cup. And I'm putting all of this in it. And I'm going to whip this.
Gotta take it out there.
That's what it looks like. It's now out of the oven. Okay, and I'm just gonna put some sprinkles on it. That's it, iced.